And good evening, one and all. Thank you for joining us. It is fantastic to have you here, the Absolute Football Podcast, as we're streaming live on YouTube, Twitch. Tomorrow we're going to be on Spotify, we'll be on Amazon. It'll just be everywhere. It's sensational, and you cannot get away from it. And why should you? Well, I'm not alone. I'm not alone this evening. I am so very lucky to have a plethora of people with us this evening. First of all, we've got Sam on this side, left side.
This side over here, yeah.
There you are. How are you?
I'm very well. You're not alone. I'm here with you, as Michael Jackson once said. It's very good to be here. I am wonderful. How are you? Little spanner for you, straight off the bat.
Yeah. And are you looking forward to this evening's podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, sensational. And just to keep up the cool rating and to bring up the handsomeness level of this podcast from where it normally is up to the next level, we have Lucas. And Lucas, how are you this evening, my friend?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm not sounding as husky and manly as you are. I think you're still a bit under
that's the cold. My voice is broken just because I'm sick.
And are you looking forward to the podcast this evening?
Absolutely.
Sensational. And you will notice Charlotte isn't with us this evening. She's still a little bit poorly bad, but hopefully she might join us in the chat. There she is. She's in the chat already. What a hero. Everybody loves a little bit of Charlotte. And but thank you very much for being here as well. But we are very lucky and very grateful for very last minute. I actually sent the text out saying, would you be interested in coming on Saturday? I believe it was. So massive thank you to Haley. Thank you for joining us, Haley. And how are you this fine evening?
I'm all right, guys. I'm excited to be here.
It's exciting times. But are you looking forward to this evening's podcast?
Of course I am. It's better than my usual Sunday nights.
I teed you up and she missed it. But don't worry, it's the first time. But no, massive thank you for joining us. I'm sure it's good. It's going to be a hootenanny. It's going to be an absolute hootenanny. And of course, if any viewers are in the chat on YouTube or Twitch, feel free to join in and let us know how you're doing. And we're going to bring Crab on to bump up the Aaron Lennon effect.
Rusty seems to think that Aaron Lennon is my uncle.
Well, he's quite short though, Aaron Lennon, isn't he? He's quite
I
short.
do actually have an uncle that looks like him, but also Aaron Lennon's like 3 years older than me, so that wouldn't work.
But in my mind as well, I mean, I envisage you like 6'1" for some reason. That's what I've got.
We'll stick with that. We'll go with that. The internet doesn't need to know the real height. We'll stick with that.
Yeah. The Theo Walcott, your brother. There we are.
Theo Walcott's actually my brother.
There you go. And Charlotte, she's glad that Haley's here doing it for the girls. And but Charlotte is going to be joining us on Thursday, hopefully for a Ducks and Dale light bite. You lucky bastards! But without much of ado, before more of ado, let's get to a coupon buster, the game that really ballsed up all of my betting this weekend. I was on scope to win about 30 quid off about 50p, and it was all gone all to cock by Man City 1, Brentford 2. What are you supposed to do? I mean, Lucas, kick us off with this. I'm gonna keep your guess, and I'm not put down who's doing what. So I'm gonna start with you, Lucas. What happened here, and how did this game make you feel?
Vindicated is probably the word I'd say for that one. For Ivan Toney. I'm very happy for him. Not only because, my team, 5 points clear, but we'll get onto that later on, the most important bit of it. But no, I think Ivan Toney, that was the perfect response. You don't want to put me in the England team. Okay, well, there's 2 goals against the champions. Should have been 3. Could have been 4, but it should have been 3. Should have been a hat trick. So it's one of those games. I mean, City have these like 4 or 5 times a season, don't they, where nothing just seems to click. Haaland looked tired. And Brentford just defended really well. It's going to happen, and it happens a few times, but I wouldn't look past it apart from that. But yeah, I'm very, very happy for Ivan Toney.
And especially telling us in the chat that, what's the new boxing after that? How you know that, I'm not quite sure. And how I can confirm that, I'm not sure either. But Haley, as I guess, I mean, how did that game make you feel?
I mean, to be honest, Man City isn't my team, so I was actually relatively happy because mine isn't doing as well as I would have liked this season. Like, we've gone down a little bit. So But on the flip side for Tony, like he kind of proved Southgate a little bit wrong with them 2 goals, didn't he? So it's a bit of a, but I was quite shocked because Man City have been on fine form so far this season. So
yes, I know it was a bit of a dirty, stinky win, I think, by Brentford. But Sam, I mean, that was it? I read 10 minutes extra time. When I turned the video on, it was 8 minutes extra time. What the hell happened there?
Well, they thought City were going to get the custom winner, wasn't he? Who, me? Have I frozen? Are you frozen? I think it might be Josh that's frozen. I think I'm all right. Are we all okay?
Yeah,
we'll carry on.
Yeah, I'm all
right.
He's back. He's back.
He's back. Manchester City, I think they thought the extra time would be enough for them to get their customary late goal, didn't it? But it backfired. They got you push, and now and again you're going to get counter attacked, and Brentford are very good at doing it. They're very good at doing it. They're a right handful, aren't they, when they're at it, Brentford? They're a right handful. You just never quite know when they're going to quite be at it. But when they're at it, they're very good. But the one thing is, as Lucas said, they do have these games, don't they? They do have these games where it just completely drops off. Nothing happens. And this happened last season against Crystal Palace, and they went 15 games unbeaten. So,
do you know what? I think someone referenced that in the chat. I was waiting to bring that. There we are. Realist United tell us. Hope they don't go on a 10 to 15.
Yeah.
I don't want them to go on a game run, to be perfectly honest with you. Just existing in the league breaks my heart as a Liverpool fan. But then Eskimo West in the chat telling us that Tony's increased his transfer value. He did. There's a lot of chat giving Lucas's underwear a lot of grief.
We'll put a poll up after the show.
Well, apparently, I mean, he's claiming here Calvin Klein's, but I think if you swap the C and the K the other way around, that's what he really.
Like the 6'1" claims, basically.
And we got brilliant by Rusty, Tony, and CR7 deal swapping. I mean, would Sam, as our resident United fan, I mean, would you take a Tony CR7?
I think as of about 8 o'clock last night. Yeah, I think it's an inevitable ending anyway. Why not? Let's get Ivan Toney for it.
Do you know what? I didn't have, believe it or not, up until yesterday's fiasco, I didn't actually have it in the format to discuss Man United because they beat Fulham. So I thought, who cares? They beat Fulham. They should be beaten. We're limited on time.
Beat Southampton and snuck that in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fulham actually in the top 10. So Southampton are probably going to get relegated.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take them when I can. I'm gonna take it where I can find it. But we will. I promise. We will come on to that fiasco. And talking of fiascos, Newcastle won, Chelsea 0. Again, Mr. I mean, Haley, how did that game make you feel?
You know what, actually, just generally speaking, I was having a conversation with someone literally about a month ago when Newcastle was a little bit further down the table. And I said, they're going to do better. They're going to get into top 5 within a month. Watch. And they were like, no, they're not. And look what's happened the third. So I can't say I'm overly surprised. And because obviously Chelsea are 8th now, I think. And Potter, I think he is safe. Like, it's very early doors, and a lot of fans are like kicking. I've seen a lot of fans kicking off on Twitter saying like, get rid of him, blah blah blah. I think personally, from what's happened, is when Brighton beat them, obviously Potter's old club, that might have shaken things up a little bit and knocked confidence a tiny bit because it's been a bit shaky since then. So I think it's just put a bit of like fear in the works. But now the World Cup break is here, he's got time to reevaluate and kind of go back. So I think he's safe for now. But I'm not surprised that Newcastle beat Chelsea, given the form they've had for the past couple of matches.
Yeah, I totally agree. And in the chat, Rusty tells us he thinks Brighton carried Potter. and I mean, Lucas, as somebody who has been, I'm sure you predicted Chelsea to finish like 8th or 9th or something.
Yep, I had them as 8th.
So how did this game make you feel?
Vindicated again.
It's a podcast of vindication.
No, Haley spot on though. I think Chelsea, we all knew Chelsea were going to lose. It was just basically like how much, and Newcastle 1-0, it was fine. But Newcastle, what, how many have they won in a row now? Like, it's like 6 or 7 in a row, isn't it? Maybe they've had a draw in there. They look really good. Yeah. and it's the same set of players from last season with a couple of additions. Chelsea look awful. You know my thoughts on Mount and Havertz. Havertz is the only player I have slated who is yet to score. Everyone else within 2 days, usually within a few hours, ends up scoring. But Havertz is yet to be that one. But
he's the one just before the apocalypse, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, when that happens, it's over. The internet's gone after that happens. Yeah, Chelsea are pretty bad. They're pretty bad, but I think they will give him time because they've given them a 5-year contract. I know contracts don't really mean anything at the end of the day, but 5 years is quite a significant with a new regime to give Tuchel 250 million, then sack him and get Potter's the guy we want. Here's 5 years. Seems to me as if this season is really they can tank it. They're not going to sack him, I think, this season, regardless of where they end up. Obviously, if they're in a relegation battle, that's different. But 10th, 11th, I think he might be safe.
It is a safe zone, so
yeah, exactly. Where did they finish under? Was it Mourinho? Then it was that 9th?
Something
the year Mourinho
like that.
got sacked. I think it was like 9th, and then they won the league the next season with Conte. So it's not, and that was under Abramovich. So it's like this is a new regime. Chelsea fans have to get used to. This is a new regime. It's not Abramovich. It's not the chop and change. It's not the you deliver a trophy or you're sacked. This is a completely new Chelsea football club from top to bottom. So they go through a process. I hate to say it, but
I do like that ethos though. Trophy or sacked. And Charles giving you grief in the chat. Lucas, obviously Charlotte is a big Mason Mount fan.
Yeah, I left his name. I was about to say it. And I was like, no, he scored.
Is that by skill or is that by attraction?
I've been unclear as to specify the reasons.
One of my best friends is obsessed with Mason Mount. Knows nothing about football, but she just sends me TikToks and videos and pictures, and I'm like, Georgia, mate.
He's not that good. Just say that.
He's pretty. Yeah, that's fine, but he's not as good as you think he is. Trust me.
Haley calling out their friend Georgia on the pod. Like, Georgia, you've been called out on the podcast live.
Oh, it's fine.
And we got Cole Free. Didn't realise Charlotte wasn't here. Charlotte isn't here, but Cole Free is welcoming you into the team this evening. So that's lovely. That's very nice. And I mean, this one's for you. I'm assuming. Look, hologram car is dead.
Hologram would be more effective.
And I mean, Charlotte in the chat just sounds like here. Just she's a watcher. She doesn't. Charlotte knows more about football than I do. I just talk a really good game and rely on everybody else. But I mean, Sam, how did that game make you feel? Do you think Potter is safe, or do you think he should be gone?
No, I think he's safe. I think it's not his team yet, is it? It's not his team. He's picked up, and they had that initial start run. They had a bit of the break because of the Queen, didn't they? And he had a decent run after that. The recent form's been trash, no doubt about it. But he's going to be safe. This time is a good period, I suppose. You can work with a few players that aren't at the World Cup. But that first 11 it wasn't very good. It was one of the worst I've seen of a Chelsea side. I mean, you got a back three of Azpilicueta, Chalobah, Koulibaly. Meh, it's not. Doesn't do anything really for me. And they had about 7 centre midfielders on the pitch. It was ridiculous. Loftus-Cheek. What did they have? They had Kovacic, Jorginho, Mason Mount, and somebody else. No, Gallagher as well. Conor Gallagher was in there. And they played Ryan Hall, didn't they? Young Ryan Hall played it.
Lewis Hall, yeah. That was
Lewis Hall, sorry, yeah. Ryan Hall sees the UFC fight, wasn't he? Top jiu-jitsu. Might as well have played him. But I just don't think their team's just up to. And Newcastle are on a roll, aren't they? You take into account that last 6 months of the previous season as well. There'd be, I don't know what the form tables ended up for this year, but they've got to be. They might even be top two.
Yeah,
they seem to have turned it all around.
I mean, for a team that's still playing Sean Longstaff as one of their pivotal midfielders,
it's mad, isn't it?
It's
mad. It's behind the scenes, though, isn't it? When you've got the richest group of people behind your football club, we see Eddie Howe still there. We still see Almiron, who should not be mentioned after that again. We still see Longstaff. These same players. Dan Burns there. Chris Wood started up front. All we don't see is behind the scenes is all the sports analysts, all the health, nutrition, all of that's being upgraded in the back end with the new ownership. Like all of that is you can see it's the same set of players are playing a lot better. They're fitter. They're running more. They're lasting longer in the game. They're not getting injured as much and things like that. So they're smashing it. I like Newcastle. So
it's a breath of fresh air a bit, isn't it? It is. I mean, in 5 years' time, we're not going to be
yeah,
saying
exactly.
that.
Be like, God damn it.
I do definitely think that Mike Ashley selling the club has like boosted morale like a hell of a lot, because I know fans weren't keen on him. I know club in itself wasn't even keen on him, like, because he doesn't really do much. He just kind of chucks money at things and hopes they work. Look at Sports Direct.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just it's just, you know, so I think he's a businessman. He's not a football guy. So I think that's where the issue is. And I think that's where a lot of clubs fall when it comes to ownership. So I think it's been a massive boost since he's been out of the picture. And you can tell because they're playing a lot better and everyone's happier.
These players suddenly don't wake up overnight, and Almiron doesn't suddenly wake up overnight and become the next Kaka. Like it just doesn't happen.
It was always there. It was always inside him. He just needed you.
Not there until I said it. And then Grealish copied me and slayed him as well. And then now all of a sudden he's an absolute baller.
That's what it is. I mean, and in the chat we've got Rusty saying he didn't even realise softest cheeks still played for Chelsea. and Eskimo West interested. Will the board back Potter in January or wait till the summer when they can sell a few? I mean, hey, what do you think on that? Do you think they're going to back him straight off the bat?
I think they're going to give him a little bit more time, because especially with the World Cup break, like it wouldn't be fair of them to just kind of like, oh, you know what? Nah. I think they're going to give it until at least the summer to reevaluate things, because a lot can happen, especially with a rest period like they've got. So it gives them time to kind of evaluate, have a look what's gone wrong over the past few fixtures, what worked when Potter got there, because they did have they had a good few fixtures when he got there. Like I said, it's just since Brighton, I think, beat them, it just seems to have been a bit shaky. So I think they're going to take this time to evaluate, have a look at the transfer window maybe in January and see what's going on and see if they can make any improvements, any changes, and then go from there. And then I think they'll evaluate it properly in summer.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Sam, do you concur?
Yeah, I would say so. It's going to be difficult. It's always difficult January anyway. But yeah, post, I think as the chat says there, waiting to summer after the World Cup tax. World Cup's just going to add so many. There'll be some players that might be tempted at. I think some of the budget's there because they were going a bit mad, weren't they, towards the end of the transfer window, which shows that they still had a little bit left to go at. So
Ronaldo.
He's going to be linked everywhere now. He's going to be linked everywhere now.
Ronaldo's going.
Just get him to text Piers Morgan. He's got his number. So.
I think they can spend quite a lot, can't they? In January, they had that 300 million because of fair play in the investment. They can spend like literally whatever they want. But I think you're right. I think the risk is we see it all the time. Players have a good World Cup and then they're worth 40, 50 million when they were worth 5. And then they move to these teams. They're not the same. So Newcastle seem to be doing smart business. So I wouldn't look outside the Premier League too far if I was them. If I was Newcastle, personally, I'd be going James Maddison. How much do you want, Leicester? Because I think they need an attacking midfielder. And Leicester, he's got, a year left in his contract after this year? Same with Tielemans. I'd be looking at those kind of players in the league and just going, let's just nab a few of those as soon as possible. Just get us over the line.
And in the chat, we've got readers to say it's not just the price, but players will look good in a World Cup. And we'll say defecation in the league. And do you know, as a Liverpool
Rodriguez.
fan, Milan Baros.
Whoa, actually, whoa. Wait a minute. Well, no disrespect to Milan Baros here. He was great. I'm not having that. Mr. Head down. Milan Baros. He scored quite a few goals for you.
But he's just rubbish, though.
He wasn't a great footballer.
He just wasn't that good. We got some contrasted views in the chat here. So Charlotte thinks Eddie Howe's a positive impact every week. He's a nice guy, and Stinky Balinki's agreeing. Looking at Firmino with Rodgers versus Firmino with Klopp. This is very true because Firmino was also good. I think he was at Shakhtar. I want to say he was in Germany and he played in a blue kit.
It wasn't a World Cup though. It wasn't a World Cup where after you signed him.
No, he just looked good. He just looked good, didn't he? But we've got Carl saying they'll come back stronger, and Rusty said he hopes Chelsea get relegated. So
it's spicy.
I'd be so happy. But...
and Charlotte's agreeing with you about Maddison, and James apparently is quality.
Dan James.
Dan James is, yeah.
Cleverson.
You watch Fred have an absolute ball in World Cup. Get ready for it. Fred is going to dominate the midfield.
He will do. And the Senegalese players at Liverpool. So who do we have? Djimbi Traore.
Diao. Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Maguire, he's hoping Maguire has a good World Cup and West Ham buy him for
That's not a hot take.
35.
Ooh, okay.
West Ham buying Harry Maguire is not out of the question, to be honest.
No, it's not. I didn't really think of it from that aspect, to be honest. But
They're preserving his value. Ten Hag's doing well. They're making Maguire not, they're minimizing his defecation. I was going to say something else. So he has a decent World Cup. Give him a few Europa League games here, a few minutes here and there.
Yeah.
35 million West Ham summer.
Yeah.
He needs one headed goal free kick in the World Cup, and he's up by 15 million. That's it. Just one
massive celebration, and then you're like, "Yep, that's it."
Yeah,
to the fans.
I want to see that. I want to give him all of this. Maguire, look, where you know as he falls over celebrating.
I'm gonna be like, why?
Oh my god,
this World Cup's gonna be fun.
It'd be great, and his mum's going to be tweeting everyone as she does it. See, my boy's great. I told you. And realistically, Clemens said, "Look so good for Brazil." Yeah, that was some beautiful football there. And Charlotte thinks we should swap Maguire for Big Craig Dawson. Champion work there. I like it. And Scotland Lake in the chat. Have we covered Liverpool yet? Don't you worry. That excitement and that joy is coming up. We got two more games to go to. And Messi is saying you won't score because England aren't playing Estonia. He's not. You've only got a chance to score against USA and is it Iran, and then you're going to be going home Wales. Then. So he's well, yeah, you're not going to score against Wales, are you? but yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully, Harry Maguire will score. United can get. I don't want United to get rid of him. Let's keep him there. And England's Rusty in the chat. England's 8-1-1 tack. He's got a lot of players in the back end of the field there. 2 strikers, but we'll touch on that one later on. But moving on to another disaster zone from England to Bournemouth 3, Everton 0. And Bournemouth, was he picking up a lovely
Bournemouth and Everton in there, but not United Fulham. This is outrageous.
Only because I shall tell you for why. I shall tell you for why. Because Bielsa was rumored to be watching the game, and obviously all the jazz with the fans verbally abusing Lampard after the game. And as a Liverpool fan, I enjoy these moments. They make me feel really happy. So I mean, is it a Lampard? Hayley, do you like Lampard at any stage?
As a footballer, yes. As a manager, nah. Like he's not. He's got the experience, but he's not putting it into practice, in my opinion. Like he's not. I don't think he's working with his counterparts very well. But having said that, blue or red, I'm a red. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm kind of. I'm happy about it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he can stay a little bit longer, in my opinion.
They're kind of falling off a bit though, because. They were doing all right. They had like the best defense in the league for like a couple hours, to be fair, on the weekend. But they were there. They were like not conceding many goals. And I don't know what happened. It just switched. And
defensively, it's a mess, isn't it? I think they're still playing the same back four as well. It's still Tarkowski and Cody, and it's
Calvert-Lewin came back. It's really weird.
And they were dreadful against. But some of the goals they conceded they were absolutely all over the place. Absolutely all over the place. Just shocking. As you say, complete turnaround from what they were. It was very happy in the corner.
I just really enjoyed it. When I saw the result, I mean, obviously in the predictions, I went for Bournemouth purely because I'm not going to predict Everton to win a game. But that was quite comprehensive. And I mean, Charlotte in the chat said, "Did you see the Everton fans throwing the players?" It was just.
I mean, if you lose 3-0 in that manner, why would you go? Yeah, I mean, clap the fans and. Go down the tunnel, just walk away.
I honestly think Everton's highlight of any time so far is that guy clamping himself to the goalpost. If I'm being honest, there's not really been much else happening, has there?
They're just boring. They're just a boring team. I don't like Liverpool either, but they're just a boring and Liverpool exciting.
That was the most excitement I've had in a while.
It was really good. You had the stewards holding back the fans from like battering their own players. I think that's That's absolutely superb. And Musty, my favourite comment so far is 2022, and they're playing Seamus Coleman.
Might as well get Leighton Baines out for retirement as well. It's great.
It was. It's bad. It is bad. And is it your friend? Apparently, was it your friend that handcuffed himself?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, well, you know, I'm just pulling it out there.
He's apparently doing prison time for it. So
yeah, it's like because
2 month sentence or
go onto the
something.
pitch, are you? Yeah, like it's pretty serious pitch invasions. But yeah,
although if you want to protest at the top of a bridge, that's okay, but we shan't get too much into that. And Musty telling us in the chat we need to bring back Bielsa. I think the Premier League needs a bit of Bielsa at Bournemouth. Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Sam? I mean, what do you think of Bournemouth and Bielsa? I mean, 2 Bs.
Yeah, bring him back. He's fun. Yeah. And they're on the verge. There was talk of a takeover as well, wasn't there? The US businessman, was it Bill Foley, apparently? US businessman was being linked with them. Is that happening? I don't know. Bielsa, Bournemouth, it all adds up to me.
Yeah. When you say takeover, you got to be very careful because you said takeover, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. They said US takeover, I was like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad then.
Exactly.
The record's not great in the Premier League, is it?
No.
Well, I think you're right. Bournemouth, Bielsa, buckets. It's all the bees. It just all goes together beautifully. And talking of beautiful things is Liverpool 3. Southampton 1, winning the game. I'll take that. Doesn't matter who it's against, how we performed. I mean, it's all wonderful. But Hayley, given our recent run of form, how did that game make you feel?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. After we lost to Leeds, I'm not a crier, but I shed a tear. I was fuming. Why Leeds? Of all teams, why Leeds? We all hate Leeds. So, so to cut like anything after that, like was just so. Even though Southampton are like in the relegation zone and second from the bottom, I was very happy about it. Very happy about it. In Jurgen, we trust.
Yeah, and we've got a big Nunez fan on the pod in Lucas. Big Nunez fan. I mean, Hayley, what would you like to say to Lucas about that Nunez's form recently?
Ooh, you know what? I think the silence says it all. To be honest, like I think we should just all appreciate this moment and just take it all in, because I think silence is louder than words sometimes.
You could have gone for the goals versus Jesus, but thank you for that.
I could have done. I was actually trying to be quite polite, but
you're being respectful for your first appearance.
I am being respectful. It's my first time on here. I mean, I have to go gentle because otherwise you won't go gentle on me. So
what's it? It's eight goals and 11 starts now. I believe it is. I think it's because 18 minutes, 88 minutes per goal.
I saw something that was more than that.
It might have been.
It might 10 in something. 10 in the starts, isn't it? 10 in 11.
It might have been.
Oh, it might be actually.
I'll take that. Keep going up. How about 11? I always say 12 and 11 starts.
It's just a nightmare for defenders. I was watching it and I was just like, football. Technically, he's funny. He's not good. It's so funny. But you don't always need that. Sometimes you just need to be an absolute nightmare, and that's exactly what he is. He's just a pain in the ass for defenders. He's quick, strong. And his movement is great. So I give him that. And he can finish. Can't take that away from him. So if you create chances, why not?
I think he is. He's like an excitable little like bunny. You know, reminds me of like when you're playing football when you're a kid. You're just everywhere in everyone's face. You're like and nobody knows what to do. And the thing is, I mean, if you've got obviously in that game you had him and Salah up front. If you're going to mark a player between Nunez and Salah, I think you're probably going to prioritise Mo. So that just leaves him with more space there. And I'm sure the one goal where Robertson crossed it, sent the ball across, and there was Nunez and Salah both running onto it. I bet Mo's going, if you weren't so big, I'd fight you.
Mo's just like, what is going on? He doesn't know what's going on, Mo. But I noticed Nunez is like, you can see he's being like the coach. You can see it already, like the level of coaching he's having, because he's actually like, he's looking up and like playing passes in, like decent, to try and get Salah in at like the back post, like a lot. Like he's getting in and it's like he's doing a bit more of that. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Klopp knows what he's doing.
And it might just be a mixture of coaching and also Salah going, pass it. Do you know who I am? Pass me the ball. I'm going to poison your coffee. And in the chat, we've got you, Musty, saying he takes 40 shots a game. One of them. You got to be in it to win it. And Vilas, like a certain player we know, Marcus Rashford. And
there's a way it is like chaos.
I'm not gonna mention this one for our audio listeners. I'm worried we'll get shut off Spotify. And for that one. There's a comment from Realist, which again I'm not going to read that out because you're just trying to hurt my heart.
And that's just rude. Let's not. That's just rude.
Don't worry, United fans. We'll get on to you. Don't you worry.
It's coming. But Sam, as I was our closest to Southampton, as I found out last week when I went and dined and met Sam at his own home. He is a real person. He has a house, and everything is real. It's not just an illusion. But being now closest to Southampton, how did that game make you feel?
Well, they're not surprised. They're not surprised. It's been a bit of a rough time. They feel that they're preparing for the Championship already with the appointment they've made as well. So they're not kind of surprised. You were down in Southampton and Liverpool played them that weekend. So I don't know where you went after my house, but there's potentially food poisoning. Anything could have happened to the Southampton players. So, you can't stick it all on Liverpool. Sabotage. It was you all along. I was impressed. I was impressed with Darwin Núñez. He's coming through good. But I still want to talk about your defence. I still want to talk. What was the last 10 minutes all about a little bit? Because Alisson's, we haven't touched on. Alisson made some fantastic saves later on, but they got in so easily. Considering you had a 3-1 lead, I think the free kick that they scored from as well. There was kind of lack of following people in. It was a great run from Che Adams and goal. Great delivery from Ward-Prowse, but late on, there was 2 or 3 where they opened up and ripped you through. Southampton opened up and ripped you through. So I think Klopp's going to probably be starting to feel a bit more comfortable with the way your attacking patterns and that are working, but defensively, it still just doesn't seem right. Just doesn't look right.
I mean, I don't think Fabinho's picked his game. I think he's been quite luckless, and that leaves him exposed because that defensive cover, that shield that they've got to counteract that high line, he's I don't know what's going on. He's just not there at the moment. I mean, Haley, you may watch more than me. Can you put your finger on that?
I think defense is definitely our problem at the moment because that's where we seem to be lacking a little bit. But I hope kind of like this break will give like obviously with Chelsea, will give Klopp a little bit of time to kind of reevaluate where we're kind of falling short, because I think that is where it is. And then obviously we've got transfer window in January, and I think we will see a few swaps in it, and I'm hoping our form will get a little bit better. But I do agree defense is where we're falling down a little bit, because I think everything else, we had a couple of questionable fixtures, Leeds, but generally speaking, I think we have got better the last couple of matches. We just need to kind of like keep carrying on that form. But obviously now we've got the break. Who knows what will happen afterwards? So I think it's a case of focusing on defense and getting that back up to speed, and then hopefully everything else will fall into place. That's where I'm hopeful.
Energy, I think we need a bit of energy as well. I think, and that's where we're lacking. But and then, as a sidebar for anybody watching, if you were re-watching this on the VOD on Twitch or YouTube, if you skip to about 32.5 minutes, Sam and I had synchronized drinking going on. I don't know if you noticed that. We both right hand out, drink up, drink jump at the same time. It's superb. That will be like that's what symmetry that we have. What a team we've got here. Sensational. And before we move on, there's a lot of chat about when Realist says Botox, I'm assuming that's Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm assuming that is who he's referring to. So that one is coming up. We've got one more game just to appease our secret Spurs fan on the pod here, who masquerades himself as an Arsenal fan. So we'll let him enjoy this moment. There's Wolves 0 to Arsenal. Top at Christmas. I don't know if this counts as top of Christmas because it's a little bit short.
Yeah,
but Lucas, how does it make you feel?
Christmas. I mean, it's very good at the moment. It's very, very good, but It's amazing. You'll get very different reactions from different Arsenal fans based on what they are at the moment. But everyone is happy. That's the one thing. Everyone's happy. Team's playing well. Team is good. The signings that we brought in, Jesus and Zinchenko, are key players in that team. Looks good. Xhaka is finally playing well. He's finally the player that we bought 7 years ago. Amazing. Even Reece Nelson's playing well coming on. But, the rest of our bench is very, very shaky. But apart from that, it's just I kind of don't want the World Cup to happen now because of momentum. I think it's actually, for us, we're probably the team it's the worst for now. The World Cup hitting at this point. Everyone else you're looking at, like Chelsea, Liverpool, even City, probably at this point is probably good for them. So it's a pain in the arse. I hope as soon as the World Cup ends and we come back on Boxing Day, it continues because we do look good. But we have some tough fixtures, like second half of the season, some tough away games. A few, got to play City twice, got to play Newcastle twice. So you have to keep going. But yeah, I'm not celebrating yet. I can't. March time, I will be a very different person if we are first in the league in March. But as for now, I just hope it can continue because we're.
Now, you said, let me just check this. We've got some difficult games when we get back. Arsenal, West Ham on Boxing Day.
That's a tricky one.
Arsenal, Brighton.
That's a tricky one.
Now, then you have got Newcastle, Tottenham, United.
Exactly. Outside of the West Ham. So if we drop points against West Ham, you're kind of like, shit.
I'll be giving it to you both.
Haven't Brian taken enough points of all of the?
They have.
Yeah, everyone. They're beating everyone, haven't they? In the top 6 now. So this is.
And in the chat, Rusty's highlighted that Lucas has a Conte body pillow.
I do like Conte. I don't have a Conte body pillow.
And Realista said you got a Harry Kane shirt and picture above your head.
I will when he leaves. When he goes to buy. When he finally leaves to go and win trophies, I will.
And Eskimo was our actual Spurs fan that watches. He's letting you have it. The elephant's going to fall out the tree at some point.
You're hoping. Everyone is kind of hoping. You're kind of like, but it's still very early days. It is early days. You just got to hope it continues. But every team that's been in our position by this point in the season, 14 games on 37 points, has won the league. So
yeah, I think the thing is, I was looking at it. City are on the same number of points as they were last season at this point with 32.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well.
Chelsea were 1 point ahead of them, and City then went on that, as I said, 15-game run. Yeah. But it's kind of fresh to an extent. I mean, like we said with Newcastle, it's kind of, for me, I've watched Liverpool and Man City going at it. It's not nice for that. It's adding Arsenal in probably isn't much better, but at least it's different. At least it's different for a change. As you say, I worry for you. I don't worry for you. I've never worried for you, but you're concerned probably that size of the squads has always been a question, isn't it? And you're looking at your players going Martinelli, Jesus, Brazil have a good World Cup, those kind of things. What's the damage? What's the damage? But Arsenal deserve to be top. They've been brilliant, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. I mean, and Hayley, what do you think? I mean, how did that game make you feel?
I mean, Wolves are pretty much at the bottom, so it was always going to be, I think, an easy fixture. But the thing is, Arsenal have been in pretty much the safe spot for the last few seasons, I think. Like, in the buffer zone of kind of like safe. So I think they've really turned it around this season. I mean, the top at the moment. So results speak for themselves. But I do think it was pretty much handed to them from the start.
Yeah, everyone thinks he's going to capitulate. All the other fans are like, you're all just waiting for it, aren't you? You're waiting for that 4 or 5 game run where, because it can turn around very quick. And like you said, what Sam said about Man City being in, I didn't actually know that Man City were in the exact same position last season as they are right now. I mean, that just says it all. They go on that 10 to 15 game win streak, and it always happens in the new year. Like, it's always around February. They just completely demolish teams back to back. When everyone else starts picking up injuries and things like that. And now we got the World Cup in there. So long may it continue. But like I said, ask me again in March. I'll have a very different answer if we're first then.
At what point do you think you believe, Lucas? So what do you think you're going to believe? The belief is there.
That we'll win the league.
Yeah. Will it be March the 20th? Or
when does the Europa League that round ends? 26th and then March.
Couldn't tell you. I haven't been there for years.
After that set of Europa League fixtures. After that, yeah. So what's that like? Second week in March? I'll be like, March, oh boy. If we're first, then
believe engaged. Yeah.
I'll be coming to Islington.
I mean, does anybody think there's any hope for Wolves before we move on, or are they done?
I think they could maybe climb a couple of points up, but that's pretty much it. I'm not overly hopeful. But generally speaking, I'll be very interested to see how every single team in the Prem performs after the World Cup, because we've all got a really long break. This is a weirdly long break for not summer. So I think it'll be interesting. I think we're going to see some interesting results, like up and down the table. Never mind, because it's not. Has this ever happened? Have we ever had a World Cup in winter before?
Never.
No, exactly. It's a first for everyone.
Also, those teams like Wolves and stuff, like you gotta think about it, it's like another preseason, because maybe not. Well, Wolves are probably a bad example because they've got half of Portugal's team in there, but like there are other teams where a lot, like their first 11 might, barring like one player, isn't going to go to the World Cup, or will be on the bench. So there'll be a lot of teams, or will come back early. So there'll be a lot of teams who basically have an extra preseason to get ready. So I wouldn't be surprised if things like your Wolves, so even Southampton, teams like that, start off after Christmas on like some really good form.
They could be firing. It's interesting the tactics and strategies they're taking, because I've seen different ones where teams are having a break and then they're going straight back into it. Some teams are going off to like La Liga and they're playing some friendlies and stuff over there. So it'd be interesting. As you say, it's unprecedented. I suppose it's like pre-season. Everyone's got their own set. I think everyone will be doing their own thing because no one has anything to bank on how it works. Apart from that short winter break that they have in Europe, maybe they'll have focused probably on how that works. But this is just going to be odd. I think come Boxing Day, we might get completely the opposite end of results for teams that have been trashed turning up. It's going to be bonkers.
That'd be nice. But I mean, and it's a story that Shah's highlighted, which I did want to bring to everyone's attention. Oh, here we are. It's Man City at non-league Ashton. I'm not sure if any of you seen this. So non-league Ashton, 6 miles. Yeah. 6
Can
miles
he
away
actually
from
go
Man
though?
City.
Let's be honest. Can he go? Because the transfer window's open for free. Is it free transfers and loans for?
Well, that's I think I'm not sure how the league works in regards to transferring from the Premier League down. But before all of our audio listeners, non-league Ashton have asked for Haaland to go on loan for the World Cup to keep him fresh because of reasons. It's not a PR move. Definitely not a PR move.
It never would to get injured. It's like the Sunday League standard. Like he'd come back, he'd definitely get injured down there. Premier League footballers playing in non-league.
A massive Joe, like
imagine like Pep just driving down the road to Ashton's like, can I have him back now? Well, actually, funny story. He broke his ankle.
He got smashed by the Blythe Spartan centre back last week.
Even worse, he was in training and one of the lads thought it'd be really funny.
Pep would lose his mind.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Pep would be at games trying to direct them which way to play, like the lads on the beach. He's
bored. It's like
stop kicking it long. Stop kicking it long.
You need more energy. It's like I'm 47, mate.
Tighter.
I could barely move. My knees went. But it takes us on to. I mean, we're not going to talk about the game so much. Nobody's interested in the United game where they won. Man United won a game. No, in fairness, I think they beat Fulham 2-1. Was it 2-1? Because I didn't write it down there. Yes, they did. See, I do care. I take notice. But the big story out of Manchester United, which we haven't got all the details yet, but we have enough to speculate and create rumour and conjecture. Cristiano Ronaldo is feeling disrespected and wants to disrespect Ten Hag, or he has no respect. Sam, our resident United fan, Cristiano Ronaldo speaking to peers, how does that make you feel?
Mate, I was having I had a really nice Sunday, right? It was lovely. So I'd made a nice Lego house for my daughter. It was beautiful, couple of hours. I watched the Man United game. I was thinking, this is not great. We're going to drop points for the World Cup. Alejandro Garnacho in the last seconds. I'm singing Alejandro by Lady Gaga, thinking this is an evening. Sunday roast is in the oven. And then, got through my Sunday roast, turned on and went,
Twitter
what's happened here? Oh my God. I mean, you said it's difficult kind of without the full interview to really kind of be trying today to just kind of understand what to kind of sit and take on it. I think most United fans feel hurt, feel angered by it, particularly some of the comments, the words he used, betrayed. I think that's how the fans kind of feel too. I think there's some truth in what he's going to come out with, and I think the stuff he goes at the club for, we all kind of feel. You can't going at Ten Hag and everything else like that with the positivity, what we're trying to do. Garnacho scoring his first kid, massive moment for him, and all of a sudden, bang, Ronaldo takes the headlines. And we had all of this with Pogba, and Pogba's not Cristiano Ronaldo, so it's just it's gonna be. And so we now got to wait for the interview, and then we have that and the after bit, and it's Piers Morgan. Why doesn't he chat to Lorraine Kelly? That would have been a lovely discussion. Ant and Deck, maybe.
No one would watch it. That's why.
Exactly, perfect.
It's Piers.
I can't say much because it's embargoed, but I have actually seen a fair bit of the interview.
Oh, nice.
It's all I'm going to say from what I've heard, it's a very strong interview, but I don't know how well it's going to be received because of some of the language, like you said, is quite I think it's going to be quite shocking. I feel like he is going to say a lot that already resonates and that fans already know, like you say. But I think, Piers Morgan, he goes hard. Like he's going to ask the questions that Man United owners and club don't want him to ask. Yeah. So I think he's going to uncover a lot more because I haven't heard the full thing, but I've heard enough to kind of get
like
the
Ronaldo's
gist of what's
PR team
going
are
on.
basically like, just go on, do what you want.
Yeah,
like
that's what I think is going to happen. Like I can't say a lot because it's embargoed until obviously it comes out, but it's just... I think Man United in general are going to have a PR nightmare with this one, to be honest.
Well, I was just going to say...
I get why, I think there's a delay.
Yeah, probably. Oh, you're just being rude. You're waiting for me to move. I'm going to have him. I was just going to say, for anyone in our chat who has wondered, Hayley is an actual professional sports journalist or professional broadcaster, which is how she knows. She's not one of us losers who just likes to talk.
We get our news from Twitter. He's actually got verified sources.
She's Cristiano's second cousin. That's what it is.
You're not supposed to tell anyone that.
Edit that out, Josh. Sorry.
But Lucas, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I was just going to say, look, United fans, if this was, the Mesut Ozil situation, the Aubameyang issue, it is. And those are two players that I very much liked at Arsenal, but for the good of the club, the club comes first and foremost over everyone. Those kind of things can't happen. The club has to be the star, not the players. So I completely get why Man United fans are upset. A lot of them are upset. I'd see more fans upset than angry. So I completely understand that. However, from the outside, I love every aspect of this because it's one of the first times we're seeing a footballer, not just any footballer, the most followed person on the planet, come out and literally say it exactly how it is, or at least that's what I hope is going to be, and for what it sounds like it is from the clips. And we're gonna get a proper input from on the club, because you've had this before, Ibrahimovic, Jose, you had little subliminals about Man United, but you never had you haven't had a 90-minute interview, on Piers Morgan's show, literally saying this is what's going on, this is this. So I cannot wait to see what it is. But
I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, one of my favorite
got to remember. Oh, sorry. I think we've got to remember as well, Man United in general, just from a club point of view, have had a very turbulent couple of years. So I think this just kind of tops it off, really, doesn't it? Because obviously we've had the protests, with the Glazers and Roy Keane.
It's almost like it's just kind of calmed down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of gone like that, and then all of a sudden Cristiano Ronaldo in a bit, and then he's gone. Just and then gone chatting to Piers Morgan. So just when things were starting to calm down and results were starting to come in for him, all of a sudden it's blown up again.
But he has mentioned things about that. Let's just put not a theory out there, but a situation where what has to happen to Man United for the Glazers to actually sell, right? It has to be no longer worth any value to them. And how do you do that? You either tank your league form, or the club's reputation has to go so far that your share price completely goes in the gutter. What is better for that than the most followed person on the internet? Probably one of the most famous, if not the most famous and recognizable person in the world, does 90 minutes slating your brand. I mean,
it's magic.
We could be looking at I don't know, Batman situation, the hero that nobody wanted here for United fan. Because imagine they sell a week later. Imagine the interview comes out and they sell a week later. Can you imagine?
It's the impacts, isn't it? Exactly. Those massive impacts. And the fans will get, I think, once the initial kind of Ronaldo toxicity, us and the player, the history goes away, then they'll listen and resonate with probably what he says behind the scenes. As you said, a lot of it what we know, but some stuff that I'm sure we don't. And when we do hear it, and particularly I understand there's a bit about the Glazers as well, it just rises all of that up again. And so suddenly, you get that, the position changes, and then maybe, as you say, this could be the golden ticket. And in 5-10 years' time, his statue's back outside the stadium because he's...
Oh, yeah, I love him.
He's facilitated change, which is what the fans want. So,
my two favourite takeaways from what I've seen so far is the first one where he talks about when he goes into the canteen and he sees Luke Shaw eating some cake, and then he thought I was disgusted. I'm going to have to leave here. I thought, obviously. And then when he had a pop at Wayne Rooney, I don't know why Wayne's talking about me. I think it's because he's jealous because he doesn't look like this. Which is, again, a very valid point. So I think he's going to be very honest.
It's going to be funny, isn't it? There's going to be funny moments, isn't it?
Yeah. It could be good. I mean, an Eskimo West in the chat, he'd like to hear Fergie's thoughts on it to see how.
Fergie sold Sam after a book, so you know what Fergie probably thinks in it. But
I've met Fergie,
he's an old
and he
man.
doesn't hold back. So
no, let him have his time. We don't need to drag Fergie into this. He's the one historical love we still
the games.
That's it.
Stop dragging him to the games.
Fergie's actually an all right guy. I've met him, but let him enjoy his retirement.
That's what I mean. He should be in Spain. What is he doing at Old Trafford watching you stink it out against these teams? Like
watching Freddie McTominay midfield going.
It's like fucking.
I had Skulls, I had Roy Keane, I had Carrick.
Oh, he's just watching it go, McTominay. Yeah, that's right. He's on the right country. That'll do me. Because he used to play Darren. Was it Darren Ferguson he used to play? I'm sorry. He reminds me of Darren Fletcher. That's
both of them.
So Darren Ferguson is Fergie's son. Yeah. I used to work at Doncaster Rovers when Darren Ferguson was manager. So
I was going to say, if you work at the BBC, you're not allowed to mention Darren
Ferguson. It's not good for your club, Sam. Overall, it's like you said, the damage control is going to be pretty mad.
I do think as well it could open up the Glazer kind of worms again. For the fans, like that's one thing I think could potentially. And this is just on the previews that have been released publicly. Like I think that could open that kind of worms again because we saw how big the protests were at Old Trafford and whatnot. Like I think there could be. He could release some information. I think that they don't want the fans to know, and then obviously that's just going to suddenly do a 360. Because at the minute, from what I've seen, is slated it, which I can understand because I haven't seen the interview. But that could all turn around. I think.
Yeah. I think
isn't he under like NDA for some of this stuff though? That's what I think. It's like, but maybe not. Maybe it's just this is what he's talking about, and just like the lapse of concentration and just what's going on at the club is that they don't do these things in contracts. They don't say, oh, by the way, sign this NDA and don't leak these things. And they just know he hasn't signed it because surely this kind of thing, like footballers should be under NDAs for these kind of things, but maybe he's not.
You would think most footballers, but Ronaldo's contract is something completely different.
No chance. Yeah,
I don't do NDAs, mate. I'm Cristiano Ronaldo.
Not only that, he's probably the most powerful footballer in the world. Like when it comes to PR and stuff like that, there will be a loophole that his team have found in some way or form. So they could turn around and just go, "Hey, look, like you're talking shit," and he'd be like, "Actually, no." Like, and his team they'll be prepared.
Yeah, he can just post it on Instagram to his 530 million followers that he's got. It's mad.
And I think in the chat, I don't think Rusty's a fan. He thinks Ronaldo's he's going to be blaming everyone for everything but himself. Quite possibly.
Both parties don't look good. I think that's the thing. Anyone who's sensible is not going to be defending Ronaldo or the club in this situation. I think anyone who's sensible is saying both parties are wrong here, and the fact that it's come to this is a result of both parties,
But I mean, as it stands, obviously the interview isn't out yet. Manchester United have issued a statement which is worth nothing, just basically saying once something comes out, we'll let you know what we think about it then. So no preemptive strike from Manchester. So it'll all be very interesting. Well done, Piers, for getting this interview. I mean, that's going to boost your numbers. If nothing else, will.
I didn't even know that was a channel. What is that? Talk TV? I didn't even know that existed.
It's the one that it's the one that's hosting his news show. Well, I say news show. It's been out for a few months now, but the uncensored one. But like, it'll basically. I reckon his views have not been that great and be like, I know, let's get Cristiano Ronaldo. Then boom, he'll have the most he's ever had.
He's like
100%.
this is like, and he's had a good for him. He's had like a career where he's done he's been on the face of things for a long time, and the fact that he's managed to pull this off is just insane. Like this is going to be the biggest thing. One of the biggest things of the year. And we've got the World Cup in a week in Qatar. And this is everything everyone's talking about. It's actually insane.
But I mean, the common consensus by the looks of United fans is they aren't happy. Not very happy. And it's not.
You can't blame them, yeah.
But we shall see. We shall move on. I'm afraid we'll move on from United. We're going to go now, obviously, because time is precious. Because for those of you who are wondering, why have they got wonderful Haley here? It's just for a one-off. It's not just for a one-off. Immediately after this, Sam and I are going to be doing an interview. I was going to call it like a one-on-one. It's not a one-on-one because it's two
three of us.
But we shall be interviewed for an episode that's going to talk about her journey into journalism, and that'll be released at a later date. But because I'm conscious of time, I don't want to keep her here all night. So we're going to go through a very quick European League update here. First of all, obviously, because this league, as you can see here, didn't play. There was no La Liga going on this week. So needless to say, Barcelona top, Real second. Nothing changes there, and the retirement village of Seville are 18th still, unfortunately. But there was no games. He's gonna, and I shall take you. Oh, it's Serie A. I thought it was Bundesliga's next. It's not. It's Serie A. So Lucas, give us your quickest update of Serie A.
The epic fade out. That was the Serie A. I will be doing right. So headline features. Well, headline not features, not FM. Headline is Napoli is still invincible. 3-2 win over Udinese. Not Udinese. Yes, over Udinese. Osman scoring again. Like I said, I think he will end up at Chelsea. I think that's sort of like destined to happen next season, or maybe in January. Who knows? But yeah, no one can stop Napoli in Serie A. The only team to actually have beaten them is, of course, drum roll please, Liverpool. So they can't be that good. All right, they can't be that good because that was after you lost to Leeds, wasn't it? Anyway, swiftly moving on.
I know.
Inter with a 6-1 win over Bologna, so they're sort of like back into the mix again. And Lazio with a 1-0 win over Monza. Atalanta with a loss. Atalanta are actually starting to drop points. They were second, and they've been dropping since then down to 6th. And they look like they're starting to hit a bit of bad form at the moment. But the one that I wanted to get onto, the two that I wanted to get onto, Roma and Juventus. So Roma played Sassuolo. Mourinho getting a red card in typical Mourinho fashion. He, for the first time in his Roma career, he actually looks quite unsettled. Which I do feel for him because I love Mourinho, just not when he's managing Chelsea. Outside of that, I love Mourinho or Spurs. I should have said that first. When he's not managing any team in the Premier League apart from mine, or mine actually. If he did manage mine, United fans will say this: you love Mourinho when he's not managing your club or one of your rivals. That's 100%. Basically it, because he is probably the most charismatic manager or one of them. He's just entertaining from the all of it. He is entertaining. So I really hope that Rome would do well with him, but they've hit a bit of a stumbling block. I think with Dybala injured for a few weeks, they've struggled a bit, and it just doesn't seem to be clicking. So I think the World Cup's, they're a team where the World Cup's come at a right moment in time for them. They can go back and refresh. But if you all saw in his interview last week where he basically said a certain player can leave in January, I don't want them here. It was quite brutal. The player in question was Karsdorp, the right back from Netherlands. So yeah, Roma dropping points. And then Juve, who, I did say it, against Lazio, 3-0. I told you Juve would be back. You've got to remember, they had their 3 best players injured for the season. Someone said that to me. It was like the Juve's 3 best players are also the 3 best players in the league. So it's like the 3 best players in the league for Juve, which was Di Maria, Pogba, and Chiesa, have all been injured since the beginning of the season. And Chiesa's now back, but he's not starting. He's just been off the bench. Di Maria's back, who's also been off the bench. So they will be starting. And then Pogba's back in January. And Juve are back up to 3rd, which is mad. They were 10th, I think, when we started the podcast. So they're looking really good. So I think, again, they're one of the favorites for Europa League. I was saying it. February could be a completely different time. Juve with a fit Pogba, Di Maria, and Chiesa is very different to the Juve we were all bantering, a month ago. But yeah, the league still remains up for grabs. But I think it's that 3. And Inter, I'm not too convinced by Inter this season, but I think it is Napoli, Milan, or Juve. I think it is for the title, and it's Napoli's to lose. But we all know what happens to Napoli in January; they tend to fall off in the new year, so it's theirs to lose. But yeah, I think it's between one of those three from now on. I don't think Inter are going to do it this year.
And Rusty in the chat, a bit of breeze will hit Pogba, and he'll be injured again.
He sneezed on his leg.
No, witch doctors, that's what I was saying. Witch doctors.
Oh, so his leg's got COVID now.
yeah, just his leg.
Just his leg.
But yeah, no, well done, Allegri. Everyone wanted him sacked earlier on, but that's not happening.
That's why he didn't look bothered at all. He was like, "My 3 best players are missing. What do you want me to do? Like, take your 3 best players out of Liverpool's team right now. Take Salah, Van Dijk, and Alisson out of your team right now."
Do you take that back? You take that
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to think
Let's
about
move
that.
on. We're moving on. We're moving on to the Bundesliga, and unfortunately, the table's looking a bit boring again. It was very exciting for a period of time. We were all very, very happy until Leverkusen just smashed the back end out of Union Berlin. And then this week, Freiburg, second place in the league, they also smashed Union Berlin 4-1. Berlin again getting a player sent off. They're breaking my heart. So Union Berlin down to 5th position now. And it's looking a little bit like the normal form for them, to be honest with you. They weren't fantastic. They were struggling. But Freiburg are very happy. They're performing very well at the moment. And what they're being helped with is obviously with an inconsistent Leipzig. Although Leipzig, they did beat Werder Bremer 2-1 this week. But Dortmund, who you would normally expect to be around there, lost twice in midweek, and they lost the Borussia Derby, losing to Mönchengladbach 4-2. So they're really struggling at the moment, and that obviously leaves them top 3 position, well, the top 2, 2nd and 3rd position open for anyone else to come in. So Freiburg could very well sneak in there and finish, and they could end up in the Champions League next year. Wouldn't that be sensational? We'd all thoroughly enjoy a little bit of mix up there. And of course, we would love Dortmund not to be in the Champions League spots because it makes Jude Bellingham very likely to join us at Liverpool, provided we can get into the Champions League, which will be fine. That'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll happen. But speaking of Liverpool, Bayer Leverkusen, Xavi Alonso. I wasn't sure if you were aware, Hayley, but Xavi Alonso is manager at Leverkusen. They were at the bottom of the table when he started. Yes. And he's won 3 games on the bounce now this week, 2-0 at Stuttgart. So well done, Xavi. One of the most handsome, talented midfielders since Jamie Redknapp. And
putting Redknapp in the same bracket as Xavi Alonso.
Each to their own, I guess.
He's a beautiful, beautiful man. I used to want Redknapp on the back of my Liverpool shirt until we found out they charged by the letter. My old man probably wouldn't have minded Owen. Redknapp, so much.
I had Owen, like and my brother had Fowler.
See, that's too many letters in my house. I had a choice between Bab. I could have had Phil Bab. Or and that was about it, really.
What about Milan Baros?
Yeah, I could. I was old. I was old enough to buy my own tops by then, so I had nobody at the back of my shirt at that stage. but yeah, so the Bundesliga is returning to form. The only exciting things really is Freiburg and the fact that Dortmund's form is not very good there, and so they're falling away, leaving those spots open. And then into League One, PSG atop. Well done, PSG.
Shocker.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I think Lens is still second. Well done. Rennes third. Marseille and Lyon. And what's going on there, really? But it's League One. Nobody cares. And until somebody does, when you come and ask us to give a full evaluation of League One, then we shall do that. Until then, let's move on, shall we? And that takes us on. Charlotte in the chat is giving us a lower league lowdown. Dale Arpoo. And that is that is the extent of it. Bless your heart with Rochdale.
Continue the form
League 2 for you.
It's just horrible. The lower leagues of English football just terrify me. It's one of the hardest things I think I've ever seen.
I am very seasoned in the lower league, so.
So who's your lower league team?
It has to be Donny Rovers. I'm from Doncaster, home team. But they are in League 2, and I know. And they're not doing amazingly. So, but they've just had a switch up in manager. So let's hope they start doing a little bit better. But they're one of the ones I cover on Saturdays for Football Heaven most of the time. So it could be worse, but it could be a lot better.
So there you are. And then Charlotte, you have another lower league friend on the pod to share your lower league rivalry with. But we'll move on to the World Cup. So we'll give you a quick overview of our opinion of the World Cup. Now, going forward, we are going to try and do as many watch-alongs as we possibly can. I think on Monday we will certainly have one, if not two watch-alongs, as Group B kick off with England, Iran, USA, Wales. And you'll either see a very happy Josh or a very sad Josh. But either way, I'm sure the rest of the guys will thoroughly enjoy it. And they'll have a wonderful time. But we're going to try and do as many watch-alongs as we possibly can do throughout the tournament. So please keep an eye open on Twitter, because we'll be popping up randomly, sporadically. There's not going to be any sort of rhyme or reason to what we are doing there. But if we go through the groups first of all, I'm just looking at the first group. I'm thinking who's going to finish top. Incidentally, Ghana. Tariq Lamptey has been selected for Ghana.
I got Ghana in a sweepstake. I think that's a joke.
I think they're going to win.
We got two teams in my work sweepstakes. We got like a good one and we got a rubbish one. And Ghana's my rubbish one. I thought, is this a joke? I've got France as my good one. I'm actually quite happy with that. But
France is that's
Ghana.
a good one. Yeah.
Ghana.
Ghana ain't gonna. They're not going to do it. No.
And Sam tickled me then with his little play on words. He thinks they're Ghana win it.
Ghana is my team.
I didn't. That went straight over my head.
I snuck it in just for Josh. I knew it'd send him.
I tell you, it's not going to go over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I'd catch it. And but Group A, we've got Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. Now, what a tough group to predict. Who do we think is going to finish top out of Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands? Who do we think? Guys?
I
I'm going to go with the Dutch. Louis
Yeah,
Louis Van Gaal. Love it.
They've also been playing quite well recently. So
they're unbeaten since he's come back.
Yeah.
And Senegal have got the question: how fit is Sadio Mane? Isn't it? Without you take Sadio Mane out of Senegal, then those two are the standouts. But I think it will be the Dutch. Dutch are one of my dark horses to go a bit far. I think.
Well, Charlotte's going for Senegal. Nobody thinks Qatar's going to have a bit of home form. It's going to carry them through.
If they do, we might have to ask some questions of the.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you imagine if in the opening game they just get the other team gets a red card, they get a penalty,
They wander out and Erling Haaland's leading the line. Going, hang on a minute.
They just go out onto the street and find the first Qatar supporter and be like, "You're ref now."
Haaland, Salah.
It's going to be that. It's going to be that ref from the Argentinian game. They sent off like 10 players, isn't it? That's what they're going to call it.
They did win the Asia Cup though. I found
they did.
They did. And but I was interested because I was having a look at their team. All their players play in Qatar. Every single one. Whereas I was looking for some of the teams, I was like, surely, they've got one player who might play in the Bundesliga or something. Nope. Every single one of their players plays in Qatar.
All home. Well, that's all homegrown. That's lovely. Mm-hmm. But so we think Holland are going to win that. But Group B, England, Iran, USA, Wales. Now let's take your bias hats off now. Who do you think is going to win that group?
Still out of them lot, England. well, England, if they perform as well as they did in the Euros, definitely. Wales have done a lot better than I expected. I'm not going to lie. So I think they've got at least second, in my opinion, at least. But it depends on how well they perform in Qatar, because I've only got so much to go off. But I think England do have that one, personally.
Yeah. Anybody disagree with England finishing top?
I think as long as they don't go into that final, I do not want to go into that final game with Wales needing something. That's the key. They've got to get off to a start. If they need something against Wales, you saw how they against Scotland with the emotions and how the Welsh should be up for that. I mean, it just would be unbearable. So I think, I agree. I think England will have too much. Just about if they perform, they should do. There's no reason why they shouldn't. But we just all know it can get a bit sticky. As for the other place, I think it's going to be tight. But I think the Welsh will be up for game one against the Americans, and maybe sneak one there. We could have 6 points in 2 games each and have a lovely final game with each other.
I mean,
rest all our players.
well, USA have been a little bit like that, haven't they? And I don't know of Anne's quality. I don't.
They're quite high in the rankings, which is always a bit. But I mean, I think they qualified well, and they seem to be quite backed in terms of the Asian section. But America's a good young team, but the manager, I think they're just not sure what he's going to do from 1 minute to the next. So they're prepping for 4 years' time, I think.
And football there is obviously not our football. Like, it's essentially rugby, isn't it? Like, it's not as on the spotlight over there. So I don't think, even though they've qualified and they've been good enough to qualify, I don't think there's as much emphasis on it. So for them, I don't think they've really got as much to lose.
No.
Yeah. I mean, an Eskimo Rusk in the chat is saying England top, Wales second. I'd take that. I mean, I'll just in a I say one word. You might need 2 words. I mean, we'll go round robin. Sam, where do you think England are going to finish? And where would you think they're going to finish? No, that's where would you like them to finish? You want them to win. Where do you think they're going to finish?
Quarterfinal. I think they get to the quarterfinal.
Quarterfinal. Hayley, how about you?
I was going to say something similar based on last World Cup and the Euros, depending on how well they play, because I think that's what it's going to be down to. If they go in with the spirit of the Euros, but build on what they did in the last World Cup, I think they've got a better chance of getting past the quarterfinal. But I think realistically, it's all up here.
It's a tougher path as well if you look at it. I know that didn't happen last time with the World Cup. It fell apart a bit, but France, Argentina, Netherlands, they're all sitting there in our section, which is a worry.
I mean, Lucas, where do you think?
I've got a pretty bad feeling about England this tournament. I think the sort of like feeling around the team going into this tournament isn't what it was with the Euros and the World Cup. I think people are quite angry with the selections. They haven't got the home support like they did in the Euros, with the games being closer. And I think there's a lot of players defensively in there who are, last time around, we looked a bit more. So I think defensively, we do not look great. And also the games we played in like the Nations League and up to the tournament have been shocking. So I think there's only so much you can ride your luck. So I've got a really bad feeling. I think we will get out of the group, but it will be tight. But I think next round, I think we're in trouble, because it'll be Senegal, Netherlands, won't it, if they get out of that one? I think if we come across Senegal or Netherlands, I don't know if we're going to beat them. If we got a fit Sadio Mane in that team, I just look at it and I just look at every team and I look at their striker or their attackers and I go, Maguire and Dyer.
With Trent against Sadio Mane defending, it's got to be a Trippier job.
Not going to be fit to the knockout.
It'd be beautiful.
Reece James, I'm like, Maguire. Imagine that Maguire and Trent are going to be on the run.
I mean, I've been going far. I mean, as it is, I would say England will get out of the group into the next round. I think if for some reason they decide to sack Southgate, though, midway through the group, I think you could win the whole thing.
Get Sean Dyche on a plane, express delivery.
Right.
Well, now I actually get behind.
Exactly.
Old school 4-4-2 at the World Cup.
Yeah, I watched Mike Bassett the other day, and he got him to the semi-final with 4-4-2. So it could happen. And Game Core's an hour late. Don't you worry. As long as you're here for the good stuff. We've just predicted. Everyone thinks England's going to get to the quarterfinal unless they sack Southgate for some kidnap Southgate. Someone. No, I'm not advocating this. That was a throwaway remark. I was making a joke. That was just very humorous. Well done, Josh. Ha ha ha. And Game Core in there. He thinks England's out in the group stage. I mean,
would it surprise you if it happened? Would you be sure?
No.
Would you actually be sure?
I'm on the fence, to be honest. I'm not sure. I was literally talking to my colleague about this earlier, and he pointed out quite rightly, which I've never really clocked on before. He loves a 5-3-2 formation, and it's really it's not something that many managers do. So is he gonna go with his usual, formation, or is he going to mix it up a bit? If he mixes it up a bit, I think he might have a little bit more chance of success, because that worked for the Euros, and we played really well in the Euros, but this is a whole new kettle of fish. It's a much bigger tournament. So I think if he takes a little bit of risk, it will pay off for him, even if it's even just in the short run. So I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think my worry is the fact they've not had the prep. They haven't had the 4
No.
weeks beforehand to start to plan a different tactic. So he's going to go to what he knows, isn't he? So, and we're all expecting that there's going to be that 5 at the back. And let's be honest, at centre back, that's where we're probably most worried. Alongside John Stones, the list isn't great. So I think he will go with the 5. But I think you're right. He will have to be at some stage more progressive and a little bit more ambitious to get something, because we've all said it for the past 4-6 years. The strength is in attacking positions. The strength is in creativity, and we're not playing that way. So if you start to rely on a defence, which I don't like the look of, you can come in trouble.
That'd be interesting. And come call in the chat. Yeah, Potter once again said.
You missed that bit.
Cover that.
Yeah.
Catch the VOD later on, and you'll pick up on that. We'll move on to Group C. Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, or Poland. Incidentally, Mexico. Raul Jimenez has been told by Lupatega today, put club before country. Essentially, don't play for Mexico, which I'm sure went down really well. He did. It's in the paper. He's actually told them he was upset that he was on the bench midweek for Mexico, and he said put club before country, please. So so a Group C, and Eskimo West, he thinks Southgate's going to play too cautious. He is. He's not a very good manager. But Group C with Argentina. Do we think somebody else is going to finish top, or is it Messi and Argentina?
Come on now, Josh. Come on now. That's probably the easiest group in terms of a top team looking at the other 3. Like, Argentina are not going to drop points in any of those games.
No.
They didn't lose a single qualifying game, and those teams are not going to. Mexico aren't as good as they were 4 years ago.
They're past their golden generation.
35-year-old Lewandowski, Martinez has got him in his pocket. That'll be fine. getting prepped for the Europa League game.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, Saudi Arabia, I'm not anticipating yet. Argentina, surely.
Are we all concur with that? It's not a hard group to discuss, is it? Argentina, Poland. So group
second place is a toss-up. You never know who could. That second place is definitely
Mexico.
Right.
Mexico
always do it. I think they've made 6 last 16s in a row and never got further.
Yeah, they tend to.
They always find a way.
Well, I like Lewandowski because he's big and handsome, isn't he? Though Lewandowski,
he's never scored at a World Cup yet either. I'd like to see him score at a World Cup.
Has he not?
I don't think he's as good as he once was now. I think he's just stat padding in La Liga against some awful teams.
He's big and handsome. Just don't,
which doesn't get you anywhere in the World Cup.
But don't piss on my chips. Let me just level in it. Right. So Group D. We've got France. I think this is a tougher one for second place as well. France, Australia, mate, Denmark, and Tunisia. I mean, that's
France is gonna walk that. I think
they should. Yeah,
I disagree.
They're in a similar situation though. The manager.
Are they? Oh, okay.
Deschamps is.
Facts I didn't know.
I think Denmark pose a problem. So the Danes, they beat them in qualifying as well.
The Danes.
Oh, okay.
The Danes. They did.
Strong, yes, they did actually. Thinking back,
they did. They're a strong side. They don't lose too many games, and I think, I could see that one being a draw, and then it would just be how they perform against the other two. But France should do it. I mean, they should.
Who are the other 2 teams?
Denmark, Tunisia, Australia are the other ones.
Oh, good lord. Okay. Yeah. I mean, France, Denmark, surely.
I think France and Denmark will qualify into the next stage. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of scratching heads if they don't.
Yeah,
they're miles stronger than the other 2. Yeah,
I'll agree. Although I'd love to see Australia to do something, but that's only because I used to like Tim Cahill. That exposing my age.
They've played good football at tournaments, though. Australia, they have, but they don't have very good players.
They're involved. Do you remember that World Cup game that they had Graham Powen? It was the Australia-Croatia game with the 3 yellow card fiasco. That was Australia.
Oh, it's beautiful. But we're now entering the second half of the groups, which I think they'll become the tougher groups. And starting with Group E, Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan. Now that's quite tricky for me. Group. I mean, I don't. People might think Costa Rica or Japan purely off. Incidentally, let me just address this in the chat. Secret Everton fan, Eskimo West. No,
that's
right.
Let me just put that to bed right now. But I think Costa Rica and Japan are not as weak as you think.
No.
And
Japan are
definitely not.
dangerous.
But
Japan
Costa
are
Rica,
dangerous.
yeah. Costa Rica,
They've got
a lot
it's
of
their
players.
generation as well, aren't they? Their golden generation, but they
Yeah.
play good football. But Japan have got some very good players who play for top leagues.
Top leagues,
I'm
defense
not-
in
yeah,
particular
I'm
is
not-
fairly strong. Yeah.
I'm not very kind of like knowledgeable on Japan and stuff. All I know is that they've got a lot of backup and a lot of like a wider range of talent. So I think they're going to be more of a threat than people realize that they are. But that's just based on the very basic minimal knowledge that I have on their team right now. So
You never know. But it's the same thing with like the continental sort of advantage, because I wonder if we'll get that with it being in Asia or Middle East Asia, that the Asian teams will actually perform like you did in South America. Because in South America, the one in Brazil, Costa Rica, smashing teams.
Yeah, they were brilliant.
I wonder if you'll get a similar thing.
Did Japan have a run in 2002? The South Korean one as well. They were their host one. They made a decent run, didn't they?
Well, South Korea got to the semi-final. Japan, I think, got to around the quarters, maybe. I think
so.
Yeah, so maybe home advantage might help. But again, Japan's got some good players in that team. They said experienced players.
I mean, well, I'm going to hold you all to this. Top 2 positions. I'm going to mark this down and write it down and judge you on it at the end of the World Cup. So, Sam, top 2 in Group B.
I already did this for my channel and I took a punt for this one, so I'm going to stick with it. My World Cup preview, I'm going Germany and Japan.
Oh, beautiful. Haley, your top 2.
You know what? It's hard. It is really hard. I'm going to say the same, you know.
Oh, making friends. And Lucas, your top 2.
Yeah, I like that. Germany, Japan. I would love that, but no, I think Germany and Spain. But I think goal difference is gonna, or like head to head is gonna be the difference here. But I think Germany and Spain. You know, I'm looking at managers again, and like Hansi Flick and Luis Enrique are top quality managers. And even though that some of their players are Spain are starting bloody Morata again this tournament, I just think they have enough tactical nuance.
Hang on, what have you got against handsome strikers?
They're too busy worrying about their looks and not scoring enough goals. Josh.
What have you got for these tall, handsome strikers? Tell you, if the great Carly's up front for Iran, we're in trouble.
I mean, I genuinely think though, like it's weird. I don't think Spain, Germany, or Japan will win. Just out there,
tournament.
but I think they will pose a threat to a lot of teams because I don't think they're expecting what they could bring, because obviously they, especially like with Japan or even like, you know, Asian teams in general, this is their winter. Like they're playing at the coldest time. They will literally have an advantage point there. Whereas
I think
it's
the other
still going to
thing
be
as
too hot
well,
for our lot and stuff. So
I
it's
think you're right.
you know, it's
not
a
the
very
Welsh.
weird and different tournament. It's a very weird and different tournament. Like, so I think they're going to pose threats.
Well, do you know what? That's genuinely what I think. I mean, Gareth Bale made the right move by going to America because he got all of this season. He got the warm weather he's been acclimatized to, and he's just finished coming off a lovely victory. And just as a sidebar, I mean, in the chat we have had the RTL Football Podcast have raided over to us live on Twitch, and we have Taylor May Gaming. Hello, and thank you for joining us. All of our audio listeners on Spotify, of course, we are live on Mondays at 8 p.m. on Twitch and the U of the Tubes. So we've made our Group E predictions. Group F now. Group F, a tricky one for me. This is a team, a group full of like the middle of the road teams: Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't like that group.
That's a tasty group.
Well,
I don't like it from the point it's hard to kind of get a picture on it.
I think that's the group where you're going to get the best games. When you look at it, I'm like, I just have a feeling
the
that
bonkers
group,
ones,
you're
the
going to get some.
Because I mean,
could there be a double Desi?
Well, I mean, you think sort of Canada, but they've got Jonathan Davies, Alphonso Davies. There's another fast winger that they've got up there.
They won the North American section as well. They pit both Mexico and US, so they were very strong.
This is their golden generation, basically.
Yeah, they're not bad, Canada. I mean, you got on the chat here Belgium to win the World Cup.
He's from
very
Belgium.
brave statement.
Do you know what? KDB is, I mean, Mr. De Bruyne is just fat. They still got Roberto Martinez as their manager, though.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's all right then. Don't worry about it.
If they would have won it, they would have won it in one of the last two. Like, these guys are old, and now Hazard's basically at the end of his career. Like, realistically, their team is not as good as it has been for the last two tournaments. And I like
you take that. So there you are. So
Sorry, game.
Lucas is saying, yeah, Lucas is telling you a game. He thinks Belgium are rubbish. So for all of our audio listeners, crab dribble __ on YouTube. That's where you can abuse, send all of your abuse. I mean,
But to
Sam,
be fair, I need De Bruyne going as far in the tournament as possible. So there's that as well.
this is very true. I mean, Sam, what do you think for your top two out of that horrid group?
It's tough, isn't it? I don't think I'm the same as these. I don't think Belgium will be going too far into the tournament. I think they'll have enough to get through the group. I think. For me, Croatia are another strange one, aren't they? They're a very strange one. But Morocco, I think Morocco one of the better African teams, and Canada one of the better North American teams. So I think it's a toss up between potentially those two, and Croatia might nick out. But it's going to be one of those last day. It might be one of those in the third minute of injury time. We still don't know kind of job, but. I'm going to go for Canada. I'm going to go for Canada to spring the surprise and alongside Belgium.
But Croatia just not on good form because again their team is solid and they've. Where did they finish? Obviously, they did the semi-final in the Euros and then World Cup. Where were they?
I think they were last 16 or
World
something.
Cup was semi-final. Yeah. The Euros was who knocked them out in the Euros?
I've got a feeling it was someone like a Denmark, maybe. Don't know. I think it was early on. They didn't go far, did they?
Someone like a Denmark.
Yeah, someone like a Denmark.
They didn't go.
It wasn't Norway, Sweden.
Basically, a Scandinavian team.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the cold countries.
One of them over there.
Yeah, high altitude, bad weather. Nice scenery.
Would you be surprised if any team came first? Maybe Morocco might be a shock, but that's the group where you're like the first and second place. You could be like, maybe. I mean, you're right. Morocco dominate AFCON. Like they're one of their teams every single time.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to give you any favors. Just one team. Who do you think's going to top Group F? Just the team. No reasons why. Just who's the top. Otherwise, if you give a reason, it'll sound sensible.
Canada.
So, Canada. Sam.
Belgium.
And Haley.
You know what? I'm going to go Canada as well,
Oh, and game. Sorry, mate. There you go. No one's with you. No one's with you. But over to Group G, which is another pretty tasty group. Now, Group G with Brazil, the team that Sam didn't think were in the World Cup, despite on his YouTube channel doing a World Cup review. He didn't realise Serbia were in the World Cup.
See, Haley will be pleased because I wrote down Ghana twice. Ghana have got 2 opportunities in my league to win the World Cup.
You know what, then? If they help me win the sweepstake, then you know what? I'll take it back.
And do you know what? It's Brazil,
it's 75
Serbia,
quid at stake.
70. Well, you've got Cameroon could also pip this group. Cameroon and Senegal, incidentally, almost identical flags. Check them out. That'll confuse the pants off you. Yeah, it is. It's just one colour removed, and that's it. And when I say removed, not taken out, as in moved from the middle to the side. But what we say, I mean, surely that's Brazil all day long, isn't it?
Brazil. It has to be.
Who are the other 2 teams? Brazil, Cameroon,
Serbia, and Switzerland.
It's a funny one, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I think Brazil. Yeah, Brazil.
I can never remember Brazil not having at least a semi-decent run in the World Cup from as long as I remember. So that's probably
it's their trophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to take a look at this squad because I'm sure I took a gander, and they've got an old defense, though.
Who, Brazil?
They've got an old.
Yeah, defensively they're weak still.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick look at this squad. So I mean, talk amongst yourselves at the moment.
Although
we've always thought that though, haven't we? The Brazil sides that won it before. You look at the defense, go, they'll get caught, and then they're going to score 6 the other end.
Yeah, but Brazilian players, they tend to play for a lot longer over there, don't they? It's not unusual for them. So whereas ours tend to be, they get to the 30s and go, nah, I can't be arsed anymore. Yeah, they just falling off. Yeah, they just keep going.
So I've got some of the defenders, and I mean, I don't know the exact ages, but I'm pretty sure we all know roughly what we're looking at here. So Dani Alves, who I'm pretty sure he's older than me. Thiago Silva, who's in his late 30s. Marquinhos, who's in his late 30s. Daniello, I'm sure he's 36. Daniello. And then you've got...
one that plays for Juve.
Yeah, Daniello. I'm sure
they're early 30s. They're like 32.
Yeah, they're young.
But then,
and also, the international football's slower. You don't necessarily need to have quick.
Exhibit
Well, I mean,
A of my point, though. They just keep going.
Yeah, they don't stop. Militao's quite young. Militao's like 24.
And they've
Yeah,
got
I
two
mean-
goalkeepers. If they play two goalkeepers and Allison and Edison, it's game over.
Yeah.
They need a defense.
I mean, because midfield and going forward, they're superb, but it's just that back line is just creaky. It's just a little bit creaky for me.
That is wild. If Brazil, well, that could happen if Brazil basically do what they need to do to let Neymar do what he wants, then Brazil are going to win it. But basically, if Brazil let Neymar just literally set up the team so Neymar can do whatever he wants, they'll go far. Which is why
I don't
Brazil
actually
are
think
not
Brazil
playing.
will win it. To be honest, I don't think they will win
Not against Argentina.
because
I don't
it's
think so, yeah.
it's not the team they were a couple of tournaments back. But it's like you said,
But
if
they've
they
got
let
Neymar.
if they let
They've got
Neymar have the
Neymar.
space, I think anything could happen. But I
Yeah.
don't think they'll win it.
That attack is deadly. That's the thing.
It's a good attack, and they're so solid in midfield.
And
I mean,
midfield as well.
yeah,
And I mean, those are
Maybe-
good defenders, even though they're old. Those are good defenders.
And with
Marquinhos, Thiago Silva.
I mean, you're assuming they're going to have Allison backing him up. And to be fair, he plays so far forward. He's like another defeat. He terrifies the pants out
I think
of
they're
me.
the
But
second favourite, aren't they, behind Argentina? Is that?
I think they're the favourite, aren't they?
Or Brazil
They're
the favourite?
Yeah, I think they're back in a big. I mean, it's the South American section. They did that second game was the one that got called off from COVID, so they both were unbeaten and they drew in the first. So we didn't get to see the big Brazil Argentina, but neither of them lost. So I think I think Brazil are back in a big way. I think we're going to start to see. They always turn up just about the right time. And ever since the Brazil one where they had that semi-final disaster, but even then they made the semi-final with David Luiz at
And they were
centre-back,
smashing teams in that as well.
They were smashing teams.
They're
before they
overdue
got
one.
handled,
They are
yeah.
overdue a World Cup.
David Luiz. Oh, I love
20 years.
David Luiz. But I'm assuming we were all thinking Brazil then top of Group G. And probably who are we saying? Cameroon or the mighty Serbia in second place? Or am I just being too mean
I'm
to
going
Switzerland?
Switzerland. I think we're being a bit harsh on Switzerland. They looked very good in the Euros, and that core's still there.
Yeah, I would probably agree there.
Yeah, I think so. Knocked out France. You can't look past that. And
Yeah,
Granit
exactly.
Granit Xhaka's a different level now to what 2 years ago as well. This is new Granit Xhaka.
Do you know Samuel Eto'o doesn't play anymore, does he? So
No, Patrick and Bomber and Samuel Eto'o.
Yeah,
That's
so
what they do.
Cameroon were good in AFCON, but they scored a lot of penalties, and Abubakar scored all their goals. And it was like they're not. No, I don't think they've got enough.
They're strong in penalty position, but not anywhere else. They got to be awarded the penalties to make the goals. Basically,
I'd love for Cameroon to go through, but and then Serbia as well. Like Serbia got Mitrovic is your two strikers. Like bloody hell, that's a nightmare for as well.
Peace central. Yeah.
But you've committed to Brazil and Switzerland, so I shall judge you on that if it doesn't happen. But we should move forward to the last group now, where we're nearly at the end. Now, Group H.
My favorite one.
Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and Korea. Oh,
This is the other one. This is this one, yeah.
Surely it's Portugal.
You say that, but they are a mess. They probably play the worst football of all those teams.
I mean, yeah,
I agree with Game. I'm with Game on this one.
I'm going off previous when they've been quite strong. There might be a mess at the minute, but could they turn it round given that it's the World Cup?
They've got good players as well. They've got some top players in that team.
Big game players, haven't they?
Who's in Uruguay's team, though? Who's in Uruguay's team?
Your boy, Nunez.
Bentancur.
Suarez. Cavani's in there again as well.
Cavani.
It depends if Suarez is. It depends if Suarez is going to play the biting game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Or the hand
arguably one of the best midfielders in the world right now in Valverde.
World Cup or Jurassic Park?
They've got Araujo, who's Barcelona's best centre back, and they've got the best.
Exactly. I mean, I really rate Uruguay.
Uruguay's team is good, very good.
Yeah, I do like you. I mean, if I was Portugal, I'd be very, very scared of Uruguay.
And again, South Korea, again, top players.
Uruguay could possibly be the dark horse. I think maybe.
They're one. Yeah.
If I got them in a swap in a pool, it'd be a sweet swoop. Yeah, I'd be fine with Uruguay because I rate them. I
mean, Nunez is a good shout for top scorer of the tournament, isn't he? He's one of those players. He's never the guy that you like, oh, he's the best striker. It's always the one who's going to, like Lukaku scored the most in the last one, and it was Kane. It's like Nunez. You wouldn't be surprised if Nunez got the most goals in the World Cup. I might actually go on Sky Bet after this and check the odds out for that. That's probably
that's
decent.
an idea. I mean, that could be where my next 25 pence bet goes. But yeah, it's tricky. I mean, I just think Ronaldo, you're too old, mate. Too old.
He
They
seems a
drop
bit
him in the group.
preoccupied. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't play.
Wonder
I don't
why.
think they should play him in the group. Play him when you in the knockout stages. I think you can bring Ronaldo in. Don't play him in the group. Play as a team.
Well,
So
plus
you
they're
gotta see him.
they're missing Jota as well, aren't they? Jota was really important for Portugal too.
They got
I think.
Bernardo Silva,
Bernardo
João
Silva.
Felix.
Bruno Fernandes spoke yesterday
Bruno.
about not really being happy about the whole thing as well. The vibes aren't good out of Portugal.
No, that's the thing. They're always a bit of a mess. It's not. Yeah.
So I take it
Realistically,
from
they
that.
should. They should,
yeah.
but given what's going on, especially with Ronaldo and stuff like that, it's questionable.
I mean, for me, I'm going Uruguay. I think Uruguay are top in this group. I think they're gonna be quarterfinalists. Uruguay, I think. I do.
I just want, like I said before, I just want Portugal Argentina final. I just want it. Imagine after this as well.
I now do. Previously, I want the reverse result to what I wanted last week.
Portugal Argentina final. Let's go.
Exactly.
World Cup Belgium Ghana. Yeah, if Ghana win and give me my 75 quid, I'm all for that.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's heartbreak in the final.
Cost of living crisis. I need that 75 quid.
I'd be buzzing it.
It's cold during the winter, exactly.
But I mean,
I'm going there for Christmas.
So I'm
definitely going for Christmas.
But let's get some names then before we conclude this fine evaluation. Group H, in a word. Who is coming top and who is coming second? I'll give you 2 words so you don't have to try and compress 2 teams into 1 word. Sam, who's coming first and second?
Uruguay first, and Portugal still should have too much second.
And Hayley?
I'm going to agree with that, actually. Thinking about it, I think Uruguay first and Portugal second.
And Lucas?
Yeah, Uruguay, Portugal.
Oh, look at that. We're all in a clean sweep. Any word with sweep in it's really throwing me at the minute. It's just knocking me over. But
so you're going to say clean soup.
Sleep. I mean, and before we hit our last section, before we finish, in a word, Sam, who's winning the World Cup?
I'm going to go for Brazil because it's just what I remember.
Just a word. It's in a word. I don't want your reasons.
Sweet.
I don't want your reasons because you might sound sensible. I just want a wild prediction. Hayley, who's winning the World Cup for you? Ghana?
I don't know. No, Ghana's not going to win. Let's be honest. I don't know. I really don't. It's really hard. I'm going to go move a sweepstake and say France. I know that's probably a bit out there, but I've got to back the money.
I'm sure they've done it before. I mean, Lucas,
they have done it before.
Qatar. I'm going to go in.
Could you imagine that? They will shut football down if that happens. Qatar win this World Cup. It's over.
Qatar win the World Cup. Is it the owners and the referee doing that sneaky little?
Exactly. No, I think I'm going to go for the probability odds. I think Brazil are due one. I think it's about time.
It's been a while. It has been a
Brazil,
while.
Though.
It's the boring one, isn't it? Because they won it so much. But I'm like, they haven't won one in 20 years. I'm like,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I've settled with that though. I've settled with Brazil not winning a World Cup.
We're like, they're done now. We had that
yeah.
generation of Ronaldinho, Ronaldo. Like we've moved on now.
And Game saying in chat, everyone's going for the safe choice. They are. Everyone's going for a safe choice. But predictions are not always our game here. Let's take a look at our prediction league.
Do we have
from this week? Yes, let's take a look, shall we? And just to give you a quick rundown of the predictions that have been made this week, we looked at Newcastle, Chelsea, Brighton, Villa, West Ham, Leicester, Bournemouth, Everton. And if you look at all those beautiful lines there in the pink, I got all of them right for the second week on the. I'm just like a prediction machine this week, as I predicted all of them right. And unfortunately, Sam got Newcastle. He did predict Newcastle to beat Chelsea and Leicester even to beat West Ham. And Charlotte this week, she was very poorly bad. So Charlotte absconded from predictions this week, but don't you worry, we shall be catching up on that throughout once the league resumes. And Lucas, what happened this week?
I didn't get any.
You didn't get any right. You predicted an Everton victory.
One, didn't he?
He predicted an Everton victory.
Oh, we didn't do the Arsenal one.
An Everton victory.
He predicted an Everton victory, and then
I did as well. To be fair,
and then he went, and he went for draws in every other game. It was the week.
Did I go for the Southampton Liverpool draw? That wasn't in it as well.
No, we didn't. No, it's Newcastle, Chelsea, Brighton, Villa, West Ham, Leicester.
Oh yes, I did draws and everything, didn't I?
Draws on all of
draws
them.
Are a safe prediction. To be fair,
they
I'll
should
give you
be.
that.
Not when I do them.
Maybe it's you.
Yeah, it might be me. Oh yeah, it definitely is me after the player slander and what happens after that. So.
Exactly. So I mean, I generally go for whatever Lucas doesn't. But yeah, so this is podcast number 7. So 7 times 4 is maths that I cannot do. What's that? Like 28? Is that 7?
28. Yeah.
28. So out of a possible 28, Lucas has 4. Charlotte has 5. Although Charlotte also is 4 games behind us all. Sam is on 9 and just leading the way, but with a 15 for 6 points clear is myself.
When we resume the next one, Josh, you're saying yours first, okay?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's wait and see. Wait for us to give all our
Let's try that out and see what happens, shall we?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I'll still never predict Everton to win, but we will. We shall be resuming this after the World Cup. We're not going to do any predictions to this, obviously, because I think it will just throw everything out of canter if we try and predict in World Cup games. Charlotte shall be catching up. She will have an extra game for 4 weeks to try and catch us all up. And I'm half tempted to give Lucas some extra games just to avoid being so low, but I won't. But in the chat as well, Game wants to know what is my World Cup prediction. I don't know. To be honest with you,
didn't know that was an option.
Come on, you've got to give one. That's cheating out.
Let me have a quick look. I mean, I'm gonna go for Uruguay, just because,
just to spice it up a bit.
Yeah. Just because I like to
Darwin
be different.
Top scorer, right? Darwin to score the winner in the final.
Nunez, that is where my 25p bet is going immediately after this. Before the interview with Haley, I'm going to be on bet whatever device that I use. Of course, if you are listening, please bet sensibly. Never bet beyond your means. And if it's ever too much, stop. What's a fun stop. And if you need any help, of course, feel free to reach out and speak to anybody. But I think that brings us to the end of what has been a longer than anticipated, but as anticipated, a thoroughly enjoyable podcast. So thank you all very much for joining us on Twitch, on YouTube. If you're listening back on Spotify and Amazon, thank you ever so much. If you are listening back and thinking, wow, these people are fantastic, where can I hear more of them? Sam, where can people find you?
You can find me under the nickname Up the FM Ducks. That's on Twitter. That is on TikTok. It's on Instagram. I am still on my YouTube channel, Up the FM Ducks, going through the World Cup teams, but we're running out of time, so we may not get to the final 12 that I've got to do before next week. So we've got 1 or 2, but Up the FM Ducks everywhere.
Beautiful. And Lucas, where can everybody find you?
You can find me Crab Dribble on Twitch and Twitter, and hopefully before the year ends on TikTok. I'm just brainstorming ideas for content.
And if he's thinking, it's going to be good. It's going to be good stuff on the man, the legend that is Mr. Crab Dribble.
Just practicing my dance moves, of course. So don't you worry about that.
You don't want to miss out. He's getting them coordinated dances with an umbrella and a sexy chair and everything. And Haley, where can everybody find you?
So Twitter, Haley_Grice. Instagram, my public account it's Haley Grice. There is good reasons. And on
Sexy
TikTok, not quite. They'll be very disappointed. TikTok, I do post stupid shit on there. I'm not gonna lie. I take the piss out of things. It's just Haley_Grice on TikTok. Feel free to judge. I do it when I'm bored. I'm not a professional.
The way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, but some of them have done all right. And when I say all right, over 1,000 likes, that'll do for me. So that's
over 1,000 views.
I'd love that, to be honest, on my first video. So.
In total, be nice, yeah.
That'd be nice. And of course, I am FMFO official, just everywhere. Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, Bebo, MSN. It's just everywhere. FMFO official. You can find me, and of course, please feel free to follow the podcast. We are Absolute Football Podcast on Twitch and on YouTube and on Instagram. And I believe on Twitter, we are Absolute Ball Pod, because that's the most amount of characters we can possibly fit in. So please feel free to connect and join with us anyway. We are gamers. Game Asks in the chat. We are 8 p.m. live, YouTube, Twitch on a Monday evening. And on Thursday, we have our Light Bite at 8 p.m. where there is 2 of us. We'll go 1-to-1 talking literally about anything, food, music, strips. I can't remember what else we've covered. Just
I haven't seen that episode.
No, neither have I.
not bad. Football strip.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay. Well, let me just appreciate mine then.
We're gonna embrace Haley's flying the flag, for she's the only one with a football strip on, actually.
1990 third kit, thank you.
One of our better ones.
Classic.
Exactly. But yeah, massive thank you to everyone for joining us. If you are following, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, 5-star ratings, all that good stuff. And thank you very much for joining us in the chat as well. And hopefully we'll catch you very, very soon.